to the Golden State Warriors News Today channel. Take the opportunity to leave that like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go to today's news.
Have you ever imagined leaving a place where you built your history, seeking a new beginning, only to realize that it might have been a mistake? Well, Klay Thompson might be experiencing exactly that. His time with the Dallas Mavericks hasn't been what many expected, and now doubts are starting to emerge. Could a return to the Golden State Warriors be possible? Here at Warriors News Fan Update, we're diving into this surprising turn of events, understanding the behind-the-scenes of Klay's decision, and analyzing whether a return to Stephen Curry's team makes sense. When Thompson decided to swap the blue and gold jersey for the Mavericks, the goal was clear: a new challenge, another shot at competing for titles. With Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving by his side, it seemed like a sure move. But basketball, like life, doesn't always follow the expected script. The big twist came when Luka Doncic was surprisingly traded, leaving the team without its biggest reference. As if that weren't enough, injuries to key players like Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively, along with Kyrie's absences at crucial moments, have put the Mavs in a battle just to secure a play-in spot. For Klay, the situation is far from what he imagined. His father, Michael Thompson, revealed in an interview that Klay's frustration with the situation in Dallas is evident. What was supposed to be a journey toward another championship ring has turned into a daily struggle to keep the team competitive. With this turmoil, rumors quickly started to swirl. Sources close to the player indicate that he might want out before the season even ends. But there's one obstacle: his contract. Moving it won't be easy, and things could get even more complicated if the Mavericks choose to go for a full rebuild. If that's the path they take, no one will be safe, not Klay, nor head coach Jason Kidd. But what about the Warriors? Is there any chance Thompson could wear the franchise's jersey again? While Klay is going through a period of uncertainty, the Warriors are also facing their own challenges. Defense remains a problem, and the front office is already evaluating potential reinforcements. Two names are gaining traction behind the scenes. Precious Achiuwa, New York Knicks, a versatile and athletic defender who would bring energy and help Draymond Green in the paint. Mitchell Robinson, New York Knicks, one of the best rim protectors in the NBA, solving an immediate defensive problem for the team. But acquiring Robinson would require giving up Tracy Jackson-Davis, one of the team's most promising young players. And that raises the question: is it worth sacrificing the future to improve the defense now? If Klay were to return, his role on the team would be very different. With the development of young players like Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, and Jonathan Kuminga, he would have to accept a more secondary role. But would he be willing to do that? One thing is certain: Klay Thompson is a Warriors legend. He helped build one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history and will always be remembered by fans. But today's NBA is not the same as the Splash Brothers era. His defense no longer has the same impact. His off-ball movement isn't as sharp as before. The Warriors are already investing in the development of new talent. If he accepted a role similar to what Andre Iguodala had in his final years, a veteran presence helping the team without compromising the growth of young players, a return could make sense. But does Klay still see himself as a starter? Would he accept that change? Then there's the financial issue. The Warriors already have one of the most expensive payrolls in the NBA. If Klay is still looking for a big contract, the team simply cannot afford to compromise its financial flexibility. In the end, the truth is that the Warriors' biggest problem is not Klay Thompson, it's their defense. If the team wants to get back to the top, they need to fix their weaknesses in the paint. And to do that, tough decisions might have to be made. What comes next? The Golden State Warriors are at a crossroads. Strengthen the defense with players like Mitchell Robinson or Precious Achiuwa? Bet on the new generation and move forward without Klay Thompson? Or try for one last title alongside the veterans? Now, I want to hear from you. Should the Warriors consider bringing Klay Thompson back? Or is the best path to move on? And regarding the defense, is it worth trading Tracy Jackson-Davis for an immediate upgrade? Leave your thoughts in the comments and join the discussion. Oh, and if you want to stay up to date on everything about the Golden State Warriors, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Update and turn on notifications. And there's more. If you want to know what the team's next moves in the market will be, click on the video next to this one. You won't want to miss this analysis. No matter what happens, one thing is undeniable: Klay Thompson will always be a legend in Warriors history. From his days alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green to unforgettable moments in the NBA Finals, his impact on the franchise is eternal. But in basketball, as in life, everything has a cycle. And maybe this is the time to look forward. If Klay really wants to return, he will have to accept a new reality. Fewer minutes, less prominence, and a more tactical role in a team that no longer revolves around him. On the other hand, the Warriors also need to decide whether it's worth investing in nostalgia or following a path of renewal. And that brings us to the big question. How does Golden State want to close out the Curry, Green, and Thompson era? The team could make one last push and try to compete now by reinforcing the defense with Mitchell Robinson or Precious Achiuwa. But that might come at the cost of promising young players like Tracy Jackson-Davis. Or the franchise could choose a smoother transition, betting on the growth of players like Kuminga, Moody, and Podziemski, preparing for a future without the veterans. There's no easy answer. What's clear is that every decision made now will shape the franchise's future. As a true Golden State Warriors fan, I see this situation with both emotion and reason. Klay Thompson is a franchise legend, one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, and a player who helped define a dynasty. The thought of seeing him in another jersey was already difficult, and the idea of a possible return stirs nostalgia in every fan. But here's the big dilemma. Does bringing Klay back make sense for the team today? If we're being honest, the answer isn't simple. The Warriors can't live in the past, and the reality is that Klay is no longer the same player he was before his injuries. His defense has declined significantly, his off-ball movement isn't as dynamic, and most importantly, the team is already investing in a new generation of talent, like Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, and Jonathan Kuminga. If Klay accepted a more secondary role, coming off the bench as a veteran presence to provide experience and clutch shooting, he could be a valuable piece, similar to what Andre Iguodala did in his later years. But would he accept that? Or does he still see himself as a starter deserving of significant minutes and a lead role? Another critical factor is finances. The Warriors already have one of the highest payrolls in the NBA, and if Klay is looking for a bigger contract, there's simply no room for it without compromising the team's flexibility. With Draymond Green still on the roster and Stephen Curry entering the final elite years of his career, the front office must make smart decisions and think about the future. Now, let's talk about the Warriors' biggest issue this season, defense. Even with all the nostalgia around Klay, the team's real concern isn't bringing back a veteran, it's fixing their defensive problems. Without a dominant rim protector, this team has no real chance of competing against the best in the West. That's why, in my opinion, if the Warriors make a major move, it should be to strengthen the defense. Trading for someone like Mitchell Robinson would be a logical step to address the team's biggest weakness, but it would mean parting ways with Tracy Jackson-Davis, a promising young talent. Is that sacrifice worth it? In the end, I see Klay's return as more of an emotional move than a practical one. He will always be a Warriors icon, but perhaps the best thing for the franchise is to move forward and allow the next generation to take the reins. Now, what do you think? Should Klay return to the Warriors? Or should the franchise focus on renewal and defense? Leave your opinion in the comments and join the discussion.